Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be diving into the world of online trading,
Ooh, online trading.
specifically IC markets.
Okay.
Now, I know for some of you, the world of pips and spreads might seem as familiar as ancient Greek,
Right.
but trust me, by the time we're done, you'll be able to at least hold your own in a conversation about Forex and CFDs.
Yeah. You might even impress some people.
At your next cocktail party.
Exactly.
So when we're looking at online trading platforms like IC Markets,
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy the sheer volume of information that's available, right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
You've got your choice of trading platforms. You've got all these different financial instruments. You could be looking at charts. You could be using all these crazy analysis tools.
It's a lot to take in, right?
It is. It's a lot. And they certainly don't make it easy to kind of sift through all of it.
Right.
Right off the bat, their website's boasting about handling trillions with a T
Wow.
in trading volume every single day.
That's a big number.
That's a huge number.
It's got to mean something, right?
Right. What does that actually tell us about the platform?
Right. Is it good? Is it bad? What is it?
Exactly. And big numbers don't always equal a good user experience or a platform that meets your specific needs as a trader.
For sure.
So let's kind of get into it.
Okay.
One thing that immediately jumps out to me on their website is this big emphasis on Aussie share trading.
Aussie share trading.
Aussie share trading. They mention it several times, almost like they're sending us a subliminal message.
Right. We know what you're interested in.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
What's the deal with Aussie share trading?
Well, it seems like a pretty deliberate choice, right?
Yeah.
They're highlighting that they're kind of targeting a specific niche within the trading community.
Interesting.
People who are primarily interested in Australian stocks.
That makes sense.
Could be a strategic move to kind of differentiate themselves in a really crowded market.
Yeah, totally. And it's not like they're putting all their eggs in one basket because they've got this whole lineup of trading platforms.
Oh, yeah.
You've got your MetaTrader 4, your MetaTrader 5,
The classics.
which I'm sure a lot of people listening have at least heard of.
For sure.
And then you've got CTrader and even the option to integrate with TradingView.
Wow. Okay.
It's a lot.
So they're really offering a lot of different ways to interact with the markets.
They are, and it seems like they're almost trying to be like a one-stop shop for traders of all levels.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
So whether you are a seasoned pro who's comfortable with a more complex interface, like a MetaTrader,
Right.
or you prefer something a little more user-friendly, like TradingView, they seem to at least have an option for you.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to appeal to everybody.
Exactly.
Interesting.
It's like having the Swiss Army knife of trading platforms all in one place.
I like that.
But then the question is, okay, so they've got options, but are those options any good?
Right. Are they just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, or?
Exactly. And they seem to think so, because the next thing they hit us with is this raw spread advantage.
Okay.
And this is where I start to get a little bit of deer in the headlights look.
Yeah, the jargon gets a little thick there.
Raw spread. What is that, and why should I care?
Yeah. So spread, we're talking about Forex, right?
Yeah.
Spread is essentially the difference between the buying price and the selling price of a currency pair.
Okay.
Think of it like a small commission that you pay for each trade.
Okay.
And a raw spread means you're getting the most direct pricing feed from their liquidity providers with minimal markup.
So the smaller that spread,
Yeah.
the better for me, right?
Exactly.
Less money out of my pocket on each trade.
That's the goal.
Okay.
So they're saying they have a raw spread advantage,
Right.
which means they're boasting about having very, very tight spreads starting from 0.0 pips.
Okay, now you're speaking another language
What's your
again.
pips?
Pips. What's a pip?
So a pip is basically the smallest unit of measurement in a currency quote.
Okay.
So 0.0 pips, that's as tight as it gets.
So essentially what they're saying is we offer really competitive pricing,
Yeah,
which any trader would obviously want to hear.
of course.
But then hold on a second.
What else they got?
They also mentioned this ultra-fast order execution, something about under 40 milliseconds.
Under 40 milliseconds.
Now we're getting into warp speed territory.
That's fast.
Why does that even matter when we're talking about online trading?
Well, it's all about timing, right?
Okay.
Imagine you're trying to buy a stock just as it's about to surge in price.
Okay.
A delay of even a few milliseconds could mean the difference between a winning trade and a missed opportunity.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Milliseconds matter, especially in those really fast-moving markets.
Wow.
So by boasting about their execution speed,
Yeah.
what IC Markets is really highlighting is the responsiveness of their platform.
So it's kind of like they're saying, we won't be the reason you miss out on a good trade.
Exactly. We're not going to be the bottleneck.
Okay, so we've got speed, we've got pricing, we've got, those are two big ticks in the plus column.
So far, so good.
Well, let's talk about options here.
Okay, what kind of options are we talking about?
So they've got Forex,
Yeah.
obviously, but then I'm also seeing this massive list of over 2,100 stock CFDs.
2,100 stock CFDs.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, I'll be honest, I've heard the term CFD thrown around.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of our listeners are sitting there like, what is she talking about?
Yeah. What is a CFD?
It's another one of those trading terms that's a little jargony.
Right. It's easy to get lost in the weeds with all these terms.
So CFD stands for
Contract for difference.
Contract for Difference. And
Mhm.
essentially, it's an agreement to exchange the difference in price of an asset, like a
Yeah.
stock, for example.
Okay.
From the time you open the contract to the time you close it.
So you're not actually buying the stock. You're just
Yeah.
kind of betting on which way it's going to go.
Exactly. And the key thing to remember here is with a CFD, you don't actually own the underlying asset. You're just speculating on the price movement.
Right. So instead of buying a share of Apple, for example,
Right.
you're buying a CFD that tracks Apple's share price.
Exactly. And then if the price goes up, you make money. If it goes down,
You lose money.
you lose money.
It's a simple concept, but it can be very powerful.
Exactly. And the fact that IC Markets offers over 2,100 stock CFDs means you have a huge range of companies and markets to choose from.
That's a lot of choices.
It's a lot of choices, and it allows for greater diversification, which is always a good thing in the world of trading.
Diversification is key.
Diversification is key.
That is key.
Spread your risk. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
And speaking of numbers,
Oh boy, more numbers.
IC Markets, they love their numbers,
Mm-hmm.
and they do not hold back when it comes to throwing some impressive stats at us.
Like what kind of stats are we talking about?
So they're talking about processing something like $29 billion in Forex trades daily.
$29 billion daily. That's a lot of money.
They're boasting about having over 180,000 active clients.
Wow.
And get this, they're executing something like 500,000 trades per day.
500,000 trades a day. That's incredible.
That's a lot.
It really makes you think what's going on behind the scenes to make all that happen.
Right. And it's a classic example, I think, of marketing through numbers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because while these figures are undoubtedly impressive,
They're huge.
it's important to remember that they only tell part of the story.
Right, because a large trading volume doesn't necessarily translate to a smooth and user-friendly experience for the individual trader.
Exactly. Like,
no.
I'm not going to be impressed by their $29 billion
Right.
if my trades are taking forever to execute or if the platform's constantly crashing.
Absolutely.
So what are some things you would look for beyond these kind of like headline-grabbing numbers?
Well, for starters, I'd be curious about their customer support.
Okay, customer support.
Because trading can be unpredictable.
Oh, yeah.
Issues can arise at any time of day or night. Do they offer reliable 24/7 support?
Okay, so that's something to consider.
Absolutely, because you don't want to be stuck with a problem in the middle of the night and nobody to help you.
Right.
Another thing I would look at is the quality of their educational resources,
Okay, education.
especially if they're trying to attract those newer traders.
Right.
Do they provide the tools and information you need to make informed trading decisions?
Those are things that aren't always reflected in like flashy statistics.
Exactly. You got to dig a little deeper to find that stuff.
So we're not just looking at the numbers here, we're looking at the whole picture.
The whole picture, exactly.
And speaking of kind of like the whole picture, one thing that they do seem to emphasize is support and education.
Okay, that's good.
They highlight their 24/7 availability. They talk about webinars. They've got a dedicated help center. It almost feels like they're trying to anticipate every question or concern a trader might have.
So they're trying to be proactive.
Yeah, like, we've got you covered.
Interesting.
But you always have to wonder, right? Are they walking the walk or just talking the talk?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? A truly trader-focused platform is going to back up those promises
Right.
with like responsive and knowledgeable support staff,
Yeah.
as well as like educational resources that actually go beyond just the basics.
So not just like, here's how you open a trade.
Yeah, exactly. Like think more in-depth market analysis,
Okay.
maybe some trading strategy guidance, even like personalized coaching in some cases.
Wow. So those are some pretty high standards.
They are, but I think especially in this day and age, that's what we're looking for, right?
Right.
You want a platform that doesn't just take your money and then leave you to figure everything out on your own.
Absolutely.
You want someone who's going to be there to support you along the way.
Hand-holding a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of hand-holding.
And that's where doing your own due diligence, I think, becomes even more important.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't just take their word for it.
No, because everybody's going to toot their own horn, right?
Right, of course.
Like every platform's going to say, we have the best support, we have the best education, but you got to look for those concrete examples.
And even then,
Yeah.
like how much can you trust what you're seeing on their website?
Right.
Because obviously they're going to put their best foot forward.
Exactly. They're not going to put anything negative on there.
Speaking of which, I did notice they have a whole section on their website
really?
dedicated to testimonials and reviews.
Oh, yeah. The good old testimonials.
And there's this one glowing review on Trustpilot that caught my eye.
Okay.
Someone claiming that IC Markets is amazing.
Amazing, huh?
Amazing with like super helpful customer service.
Okay.
Have you seen this one?
I mean, I've seen those kinds of reviews for every platform under the sun.
Right.
You know, everybody's got their raving fans.
Of course.
But the question is, how much weight should we actually give to a single review, even if it seems genuine?
Yeah, because it's easy to get swayed.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when you're excited about like a potential trading platform.
Yeah, you want to believe the hype.
You're like, oh, this is going to be great.
And then you get burned.
Exactly.
It's like reading restaurant reviews online, you know?
Yeah.
One person says it was the best meal of their life.
Life-changing.
And the next person says they got food poisoning.
Exactly.
So you got to take it all with a grain of salt.
Right.
A single review, whether it's positive or negative, only tells one side of the story.
It's one data point.
It's one data point, exactly.
In a sea of data.
And so it's about looking for patterns in the feedback, seeking out diverse opinions, and ultimately forming your own informed decision.
Exactly. So don't just take one person's word for it.
Do your research.
Do your research. Read those reviews. And not just the glowing ones.
Right. Look for the critical ones, too.
Maybe even test the waters with like a demo account before you dive in head first.
A demo account's a great way to get a feel for the platform without risking any real money.
Exactly. And see if it's actually the right fit for you.
Exactly, because what works for one person might not work for another.
Totally.
So you've got to find what suits your individual needs, your risk tolerance, and your financial goals.
So where does that leave us? We've explored IC Markets. We've sifted through their offerings. We've tried to decode some of the jargon.
We've done a deep dive.
We have.
But like you said, it's up to the individual to take that next step.
If you're listening to this and you're thinking about taking the plunge into online trading or maybe switching to a new platform.
What's the one question you would ask IC Markets before you take that leap?
Ooh.
That's something to think about.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because remember, this has been a bird's eye view of IC Markets.
Right.
We've touched on the features, the potential benefits, some things to watch out for, but
yeah,
the most important step is your own research.
Dig a little deeper.
Exactly.
Read those reviews, not just the glowing ones.
Right.
Maybe even test the waters with a demo account before you dive in head first.
The world of online trading can be exciting. It can be rewarding.
Yeah.
And yes, it can be a little overwhelming at times.
Oh, for sure.
But with the right knowledge and a healthy dose of caution,
Yeah.
you can navigate it successfully.
And remember, everyone's trading journey is different.
Absolutely.
What works for one person might not work for another.
That's right.
So find what suits your individual needs, your risk tolerance, and your financial goals.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Happy trading, everyone.
It's like they're saying, we've got your back every step of the way.
Right. But are they really, though? Are they really going to be there?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, are they actually going to be there to answer your questions at 3:30 a.m. when you're freaking out about a trade?
Exactly.
Or are they just going to, like, leave you on hold?
And what about the quality of that support, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
is it just some, like, outsourced call center where they have no idea what they're talking about? Or,
Right. Are they reading from a script?
or is it someone who can actually help you?
Yeah, someone who actually understands the markets and can give you some real guidance.
Right, because that's what you need as a trader. You need someone who's got your back.
Absolutely. And that's why I think doing your research on these platforms is so crucial.
Yeah.
Look beyond those marketing materials, you know?
Don't just take their word for it.
Exactly. Look for, like, real user reviews.
Okay.
See what other traders are saying about their experiences.
So where do you go for that?
Well, there are a lot of websites out there that aggregate user reviews.
All right.
You've got your Trustpilots, your site jabbers.
Right.
But even then, you got to take those reviews with a grain of salt.
Because it's the internet, right? Like
Exactly.
anyone can say anything.
It's easy to fake a review or, you know, have your friends and family go on there and leave a bunch of positive ones.
Right.
So it's important to look for those reviews that seem balanced.
Oh,
The ones that highlight both the good and the bad, because no platform is perfect.
Right.
Everyone's going to have their strengths and weaknesses.
Right. So it's about finding the right fit for you.
Exactly what works for one trader might be a complete disaster for another.
So you really got to do your homework.
Absolutely.
Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Wow, time flew by.
I know we covered a lot of ground,
We did.
but hopefully you learned something new about IC Markets.
And online trading in general.
And maybe you even have a few new questions.
There's always more to learn.
That's the beauty of it.
Absolutely.
So until next time, happy trading, everyone.